It's those little things that keep me finding my way back to the Orange County line.
Hello and welcome to the Y with Dr. T. And I'm here with Dinah Reynolds, one of my friends and community advocate. We're going to talk all things community and even some homeschool and a lot of other different things. So thank you for joining us. Okay, Dinah. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So you do all kinds of things in the community for the community.
Yeah.
Tell me maybe about one or two of them. What's your favorite?
Um, okay. So, my oldest daughter she'll be 15 in December and she's doing an internship with Team Peace. So she's at Orleans School with the lower elementary. And I love what Team Peace is doing. They're in the schools. I'm at work during that time. But as a homeschool mom, I thought that that would be a way that Rosie could get involved. She really wants to kind of go down that career path, something with children. She really wants to do something with mental health, and that sort of thing. So I thought that would be kind of a really good experience. So anything I can do to help them in Team Peace or Team OC, um, they they have my heart. Priscilla Woodrum is amazing, and, anytime I can get involved with anything with them, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. So those are 2 of the community programs, Team Peace and Team OC. That is a little confusing,
Yeah, yes.
but the both of those programs are excellent examples of what Orange County offers
Yeah,
for our youth and even for our families, because
absolutely.
they're not just youth programs, they're really they're family programs, both of them. One of them with Team Peace is based in neuroscience. So emotional regulation based on neuroscience. Because here's the deal, we're not going to be able to intervene in every difficult or stressful situation of a child or a family. But if we can teach skill
Yep,
to overcome,
absolutely.
then we can maybe intervene later on and cycle break.
Right, and that's what I love about what they're doing. They are getting ready to try and do adult classes, and
I know.
I've
I'm
already
so
told
excited.
Kara, yeah, I was like, because that's what I feel like so many families need in order to understand what their kids are experiencing and learning and how to use it at home. There's a lot of kids, Rosie said, if you just remind them, if you'll just remind them, "Now what we learn? What was it that what about our breathing?" And then they'll remember and they'll do it, and it will help. But at those younger ages, they don't always remember how to utilize it. They need that little push to remember, "Oh, yeah," and then they'll do it and calm right down.
Yeah,
So
and I say those techniques are based in neuroscience and in research. They're not just pulled out of the sky. So this is very much an evidence-informed program that we are really lucky to have in a lot of our education systems, either in schools, public schools, or even in homeschools, and it just for having being able to have that additional kind of branch with adults is pretty incredible. Here, and I definitely I think that that's a one near and dear. I do sit on the board of Team Peace, and I have watched its evolution. Now, Team Peace was also in the very beginning of the SICHC's Thrive Orange County initiative, and Kara was at the table way back then talking about the importance of healthy communities, and her spin on that is teaching emotional regulation.
yeah,
So it's a wonderful program that we're so fortunate to have. And then we kind of fast forward in that, and then we have Team OC, and that is a youth mentoring program based on our Orange County research regarding adverse childhood experiences. So again, both are evidence informed programs that we are figuring out a way to continue reaching as many people as possible in Orange
And
County
breaking the cycle.
and breaking the cycle,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, yeah, okay, so those are some two really good ones. But you do some volunteer stuff, especially with your work, and I mean, you're all over the place, right?
Yeah, so Old National gives us a lot of Old National is huge in giving. They're all about giving back to the community. I'm very fortunate to work for a company that has the same kind of heart that I do. So we're constantly doing right now we're doing 3 months of giving for October, November, and December. So we're doing a food drive for Safe Haven
Mhm.
for their food pantry. We're doing Coats for Kids for Teen Peace,
Mm.
and then we're also doing Toys for Tots. So, um, those are things, our employees we have, Fridays, we can wear jeans, but we had to pay $5, and that
Mhm.
goes into an employee fund, and then we collectively decide on different groups in the communities on what we're gonna donate towards.
Yeah.
So sometimes it might be the VFW to help with flags for the graves or the food pantry or, we do all different things throughout the year. So we, we do a lot with, um, like giving just normal things like gift baskets for, different things. But one big one that's coming up, we're sponsoring the, girls empowerment.
Oh, yeah.
It
That was
it
a huge hit last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for us to be involved in that. We've got a lot of planning going on and that's gonna be exciting. I heard great things about it. I'm hoping to get my girls involved.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited to be involved because I think
Yeah.
that's so important.
I got to be one of the group monitors. That's not the real name for them, but we're right. The young ladies who sit at our table, and it was an amazing day. It was an amazing day.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I keep kind of going back to is some of these young ladies had never been, number one, to the hotel, French Lick Hotel. Number two, had never been in a situation where they were served their food or even knew really kind of what to do in
Right?
that
Yeah.
environment, right? And that for a lot of us, it's kind of hard to believe. Like, what are you talking about? But no, there are students who do not have the ability to be in those environments.
Right.
And then when you also partner that new experience with so much education and care for yourself and a lot of teen empowerment talk, and
Right.
you really end the day with just some fascinating results,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good day. It was a wonderful day, and I cannot remember how many how many young ladies were there.
Yeah,
A
I'm
couple
trying to
hundred
remember how
maybe.
many.
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking was somewhere around there that what we were planning for, but I can't remember for sure. Reagan's been doing most of the startup with it, and then now we're really getting into
Yeah.
the planning. So I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be in
So
26, right? Early.
yeah, yeah, February, I believe.
Yeah, February, March, yeah.
February, March, yeah.
Yeah, great. I think that's good, and I think that this year's there's gonna be a young man edition.
Yes, yes, I saw that.
Yeah. I've not heard many details about
I
that.
haven't I haven't heard
I'm
many on that
I'm
one yet either.
glad.
Yep.
Yeah. And I've heard that the dollars being raised is pretty decent for 'em, that
Yeah,
we're turning out again for our kids.
yeah,
So,
yep, and that's where it's at. I mean, I feel like that's where it starts. If we can if we're gonna break the cycle, I feel like it starts with them. We've gotta really put our focus in them and teach them that it is possible.
yeah, and I think that, one of the things that we always talk with our kids is teach something different. That there is so much out in this world. There are so many different ways to do things, and there are so many ways to take care of yourself, and that we have to, and we have to teach that resilience every single day.
Yep.
Regardless, that's regardless. It doesn't matter what family you come from, if there's dysfunction or not. We do have to teach children how to keep going and move forward and be productive in whatever way that is
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, and there's so many options, and I think that's one of the biggest benefits for me as a homeschool mom, and I've got 2, I've got a 13-year-old and almost 15-year-old, and that's where I'm really at with them right now is, okay, now it's time to decide. You don't have to know exactly what you're doing, but you need to have an idea, are you gonna wanna go on to college? Because if so, we need to buckle down, make sure we're keeping good transcripts, Yeah, if you're not, and that's okay. Like I'm not gonna pressure them. I went to school right out of high school or to college right out of high school and I dropped out and then got married. I had had Rosie and I just had Hazel. So I had an almost 2-year-old and a newborn, and Wesley and I both at the same time decided to go back to school, him working full time.
Oh,
I had 2 more children within that course of getting my bachelor's degree and Wesley getting his, and neither one of us are using it. We did it, we accomplished it, but neither one of us are using it. So it's like and that's why I keep telling them, don't go into debt unless you're certain that I feel like I feel like she pretty well knows where she's going.
now you said
And
something about mental health.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so Rosie and I need to have some
yes.
conversations.
That has been on my agenda for a while is to
Yeah.
get you guys together because she's definitely got the heart for it. So my mother-in-law's sister lived with us for a while. She had dementia and she spent her last several months with us in our home. And it was hard. Rosie was young. She was 10 and she was right there, up until Gloria took her very last breath and,
Oh.
helping care for her. And she got so passionate and she was like, I want it for my birthday. I want to have a fundraiser to raise money for dementia. And we got involved with Dementia Friendly.
Yeah.
Um, and that at that time it was just more in Lawrence County. They were trying to move it into Orange County. And so we had a really good fundraiser at Robinson's Auction Barn. We had auction, both live and silent auction, and we had some raffles and had a dinner. And Rosie did a really, really good job. And so we kind of steered away from that for a while. And she's had a couple of online friends that have struggled with mental health and suicide. And so this year we participated in the suicide walk and, that was really big for her. We went through the class with Jamie.
Jamie Walker.
Jamie
I was gonna
Walker,
ask
yes,
you,
yes.
yes, there's a name for it, and I wanna see Jamie tomorrow, and she's gonna be like, "How could you not know
I
that?"
know, and I just went
Mental
through it
health
with her.
first aid.
Yes, yes,
Mental health first aid.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
um, me and then Rosie and Hazel, my 2 oldest, we all went through the class, and I didn't know how they would do, when I asked Jamie what she thought, and she's like, "No, I think it'll be fine. I think they'll be okay," and they did. They did great. They got a lot from it.
Yeah.
But that's when, she told me, she said, "This, I want to help people." She said, "I want to help people." And she said, "I really feel like younger, with kids." And I'm like, "Okay," so that's whenever I got her involved with Team Peace to kind of get to know
Yeah.
Kara and kind of what they're doing because it all goes together.
Yeah, it does, and that program will give Miss Rosie a good foundation in, emotional regulation and the neuroscience behind it. Now, mental health and therapy is kind of an
Right.
extension into all that, but she will definitely have a leg up when she decides to go down that path. And one of the things that I think is important, and I do a lot with my consulting, is when we grow mental health professionals, we have to incorporate not just that academic rigor in there, but also we have to be talking about, okay, so how do we utilize this information so that you can kind of walk the walk, right? So the things that you're talking about, you're also doing them because we need mental health providers to be healthy
Right.
for as long as possible
Right.
because we need to be here and we need to be using the same skills that we're trying to teach every day because we have to continue this work. It takes a long time to get here and the need is so great. So we need every single mental health professional to stay in the game
Right.
as long as possible. So we also have to make sure that we as people who grow mental health professionals are training in that way. Like we have to keep our mental health professionals solid so that they can stay for years
Yeah. Yeah.
and not burn out and not feel miserable and not take that vicarious kind of stress or that secondary stress home. We can teach that, and we can create social workers who can be in it for the long haul. And I think that's what we need to do. And I think that programs like Team Peace sets the stage for that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
way back in elementary school.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. Maybe I made a good decision on making that her first internship.
I think you did a pretty good job. But tell me a little bit more. How does homeschooling work for you? There's a lot of pros, cons. There's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of misinformation, out there. So for you, what does that look like, and why does it work for you?
So Wesley and I decided before we even started having children, and we have 4, um, that we were going to homeschool. I mean, we just felt like God was leading us to homeschool. It was definitely not well taken by our family in the beginning. They're all great with it now, but
Yeah.
it was a very hard decision for people to come to terms with. Um, but I stayed home for the first 10 years. Financially, that was probably not the best decision, but as far as being a parent, it was the best thing that I could have done.
Yeah.
Um, it really gave us that foundation.
So that degree did
And
work because
it
you did have that experience, whether it was maybe not necessarily in teaching, but
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
did put that to work
Yeah.
for
Absolutely.
yeah, okay.
Absolutely. So, but during that period, it really kind of set the foundation. So now I can work for a full-time job and still get them educated,
Yeah.
So we have I get everything ready on Sunday. Of course, Rosie, she's got a lot more classes because she's a freshman. But she's my easy child. My first one was my easy one. And she is with everything. She's just very mature for her age. Um, and she knows she has to do it and she does it.
Now she's interning in the school system with Team Peace too, so, I mean, she's going into the elementary
She's
school.
going into
Yeah,
elementary
okay,
school on
okay.
Tuesdays. Yep.
Yeah.
So she's kind of getting a feel of what it's like there. She's never had a desire. Really only one of mine, my third one, Olive. She's the only one that's ever really kind of voiced maybe some interest in going to public school. The other 3 have no desire. Um, Olive's my social butterfly. She's a lot like me. In that aspect. So that's what she wants. She'd love to be a cheerleader. And so we've got her in gymnastics and that's done a lot. That's helped her a lot,
Yeah.
being able to do that. But now, I mean, it's a lot different, from when they were little and sitting down and we had our curriculum and we had our schedule and I was teaching and now they're teaching themselves. They're, doing it and then whatever they have questions on, we go through in the evenings and I get everything ready for the next week on Sundays and they do it and it works great, but I don't think it would have been that way had I not stayed home for the first 10 years and really built that
Right.
foundation of, this is what we have to do. We've made a lot of curriculum changes throughout, that time to find what fits best for our family. And we found one and they all love it. Um, so it's definitely has its challenges. It's not, I'm never gonna say that it's easy because it's not. It definitely has its challenges, but it's such a blessing. I went to public school. The hardest thing for me was unlearning that public school dynamic because it's it doesn't have to be that way when you're homeschooling.
Mhm.
They don't have to learn on a certain schedule to be able to pass a test at this time, and, as long as they know it by the time that they're ready to graduate, that's okay. So, that makes it so much easier. Hazel she's my second. She taught herself to read at 4. Uh, I was like she just started reading, and I'm like, "What is happening?" Like, we hadn't done anything. I mean, we
But she
read,
had observed, I mean, right, so
and we
you were
we
still
read,
homeschooling
yes,
the oldest,
yes,
so she was in the
yes,
environment.
yes.
Right, okay.
And so but she taught herself, and Rosie really struggled with that because she was struggling with reading. And then I started getting nervous, So it was like, well, we kinda thought, "Okay, she's dyslexic." And so I did all this research, and we had called, "Do we have her tested?"
Yeah.
And I found this article, and it said, "Go back to square one with phonics and just reteach the letter sounds." And we did, and I'm not kidding. It clicked with her, and she took off and she reads all the time.
So
Well,
it was just something in the basics just was just a little bit
yep,
off, or she just didn't ground,
yep,
and then you went back and there she was.
yep.
Okay, yeah.
And that's all she does now. She's got a bookshelf, and
Yeah.
she spends all her money that she earns just about on books. I mean, she
Okay.
loves to read. And so, but that is what well, I have such compassion for teachers because I can't imagine what it's like in a classroom. I have 4, so I can't imagine being in a classroom and having, 30 or 35 students that I'm trying to but it's so hard for teachers to every child is different and they all learn differently.
Yeah.
I have 4 and every one of them is different. Every single one of them
Yeah.
is different. And some excel in one area and not another, but this one excels in this one and this one doesn't, and that's something that I really, from a very young age, told them, like, it's okay. Some people are stronger in science than they are math. Some are stronger in math than they are science. It's okay. And I think that is so important for children to really understand that,
Yeah.
you know, but in public schools, everything's on a timeline. Everything's funding is guided by test scores. I mean, that's what it
Mhm.
boils down to, so everybody's pushing every student to be on the same path, the same timeline, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's pretty hard
Yeah.
sometimes, but, yeah, at the same time, I think that there is good things with both kind of systems, but, yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a lot harder,
Yeah.
when there are a lot of kiddos and everyone's need is somewhat individual, and I don't think that you ask any school teacher and they'll tell you it's pretty rough business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't even
And
imagine.
yeah, but I think that what you're explaining really does work for you.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think that I hear maybe, and maybe it's a misconception, maybe it's not, it just depends, but is that, kiddos maybe don't have that social environment, but it sure sounds like you made that a priority to make sure that they have the social. They are in clubs and activities, and whether it's faith-based or whether it's school-based or whether it's independent like gymnastics or something like or doing internships, that there is something outside of the home that's going on all the time. It seems like that was a priority for you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's because so many people did express that, from the get-go whenever we said, "We're gonna homeschool," like this
Oh, so that was one of their, wait a minute, what
that
are you
was
gonna do? Yeah.
because people do, that is a big concern for people is the socialization part of it, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a social person. So, I think that's a lot of it with my kids. Between Wesley and I, there's just no chance they're
Yeah.
gonna be social, and they are. They all are.
Yeah.
Um, they don't have any trouble meeting a stranger. They'll
Yeah.
get to know you, and it doesn't matter your age.
So what type of family do you feel maybe homeschooling is not for? Like, that if you don't have these kind of set things, probably maybe not get involved. I mean, is there
I
anything
think
that you think?
I think that you have to really put your children first. I really do. I think that it has to be a priority to make sure that you're gonna do what needs to be done to get them educated.
Mhm.
It was really hard for me because, like I said, I was so used to how it worked in public school. I had to really train myself to be able to individualize it and not focus so much
Yeah.
on. And then you have people saying, well, he's 7. Why is he not reading? He's not ready yet. And it's okay. They don't legally have to start kindergarten until the age of 7.
Right.
I mean, that's Indiana's law.
But do you feel like, in your case anyway, I don't know if we can speak for anybody else,
Right.
that when there are, and I don't even know if I'd call them delays, just delays on what some people, some timelines that people have, that they catch up. Like you did your kid, you feel like,
Oh, yeah.
they caught it. They did what they're supposed to do and
Yeah.
they're on target.
And
Even if maybe they didn't read at 4 or 5 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and I think too that sometimes we emphasize too much on the timeline, on whether
Yeah.
they're doing this by this age and this by this age, and sometimes instead of just embracing them and really working through it and not making them feel like they're less than because they're not doing something, I think that really helps in the long run. Um, I may be wrong on that. I'm not an expert,
But for
but
you,
for me,
okay.
that has been my experience that,
Yeah.
like I said, Rosie struggled reading, Olive taught herself. Like, I just, she picked up a book and started reading, and I'm like, "How does that even happen?" I thought that
Well, the
I
brain never shuts off.
Right,
So,
right.
she's observing
Yeah,
100% of the time. And that observation is going somewhere
yeah,
in that brain. Yeah.
and then the more you have, by the
Yeah.
time you get to the 4th one, they're watching not only mom and dad, but
Yeah.
also siblings,
Yeah.
so that made it a lot easier.
So, I gotta ask, are you still growing mushrooms?
I'm not. Wesley, what
How many years has that been? When did
we
you
quit in 2019.
but when did you start?
So we started in
It's been a while.
2015, I think we started with the remodel and actually started growing in 2016.
Yeah.
And if I'm remembering correctly, somewhere in there, with school and having
Yeah,
babies
yeah.
and trying.
Yeah, I know.
But
I
we
hear you.
we quit in 2019 right before COVID. Um, And that was a God thing. Like, I mean, it had to have been because if we had continued, it would have been detrimental to us because,
Yeah.
the restaurants just couldn't do it, and we were
Yeah.
really only relying on one at the time. But eventually the kids are getting older. Wesley's ready. He talks about it all the time. He
So you
was
still have everything. You still have the ability to do that if you would want.
yes.
That was always
And
so cool. Yeah, I just really thought that was
we miss it.
amazing.
I mean, even the kids miss it. Just eating them, the health benefits
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Just the taste of them because 'cause they're wonderful, but we miss cooking with them a lot. We went to Michigan, a couple weeks ago, and we went into the store, and they had shiitake, and they had oyster mushrooms in there, and Wesley's looking at me, and I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna get some and cook some." So
Well, when I
Yep.
was preparing for today, Chris had asked, "Are you going to ask about the mushroom?" I'm like, yes, I'm going to ask about the mushrooms.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Eventually,
Yeah.
we hope to get back into that.
Yeah. That's pretty cool in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the things that very
And
neat.
we've learned a lot. I think my experience with the bank has taught me a lot, and I have a lot more connections in the community that I feel like will help in a business sense. We were not definitely not business minded when we went into it. I mean, that's what we were doing. We were running a business.
Yeah,
But we
I hear you.
but
But we didn't have that business savviness. Yes,
yes.
I'm well aware.
You learn as you go.
That's right. And sometimes you crash and burn.
Yeah.
And you figure it out. Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't crash and burn per se, but we definitely learned some things the
Yeah.
hard way.
I
But
know. Yeah. Yeah. That's the best teacher.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
His experience is
Yeah.
definitely one of the best teachers because, yeah, that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought that that was pretty interesting that
Yeah.
that you guys were growing some mushrooms and it was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
we got to even be just a little marginal piece of that.
Yeah.
It was just kind of knowing about it. But
Yeah.
that was pretty.
That's definitely a goal is to get back to that point to be able to grow some again. Maybe not on a large scale, but at least
Yeah.
if nothing else, just for, our own personal dietary
Yes.
needs.
I think since then, I think I have tried. I always think of you. I always think of you guys whenever I have tried to grow mushrooms, like the under the sink stuff, the coffee ground stuff. I'm
Right?
none of it's terrible. Crash and burn every time, and I don't have any idea. But I always think, how in the world? Like that was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot through that experience. That was definitely Wesley's baby. He doesn't talk a lot, but if you get him talking about mushrooms, he'll talk your ear off. They're very, very passionate. There's just so many medicinal benefits to them, and so many people are like, "Oh no,
Oh,
mushrooms are slimy,"
oh, they're great.
and then I'm like, "No, you can't judge a mushroom by just any mushroom. Like,
Yeah,
trust me, try this." And I don't know how many
I
people are
know.
like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "I
I
told
know.
you."
I 100% agree. I know. And food as medicine is becoming a big thing.
Yes. Yep.
And there are a lot more folks who are interested in learning about food as medicine.
Yep.
And I think that that's always good. I mean, I don't necessarily I do not think that that should be a substitute for medical um medical folks, but I
Right.
think that there is a lot of value in
Absolutely.
understanding what we're placing in our body and how that affects us either positive or negatively. And I just think that's always good. And we can tell stories about even just little things. You never know. Somebody may want to be a mushroom farmer after hearing this. I mean, I'm like, you should go ahead, try it.
Yes. Do it. Do it. Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah. So what else other than maybe growing a few mushrooms later on? What else do you think that you'll be into in the future?
I don't know. I don't know. I keep trying to find new ways to get involved with the community. That's kind of been, and it's hard for me. It's crazy because I live in Orleans, born and raised all my life. Um, I've never really been involved in a lot. And then I started at the bank, and Reagan, my boss, she's got a
I
heart like
know.
mine. You know
I
Reagan.
know Miss Reagan.
So it's just been I don't know, just natural to just get going, and so we're really, really involved in paoli, but as things grow, we're branching out more, because we do serve the entire community, but, there's also so much time, and you get so involved with people, so that's where we're kinda at now is trying to
Yeah.
so I'd like to find some other ways to just give back, get involved. I really wanna find some ways as a family. That's what my ultimate goal is to find things that we can do as a family to help others.
Well, let's think on that.
Yeah.
I think we can figure out something there. I think you're onto something
Yeah.
because that's pretty that's important. It's important for people to see kind of family unity and family working together. And um, I don't know how that could be a bad thing.
No,
So
not at all. I don't either. It's just trying to find something. I mean, we've volunteered, a couple of times at the Humane Society and, things like that. But I would like to find my passion is the elderly. And I worked before I started having children, I worked in healthcare. I don't know if you knew that.
no, I didn't know that.
So I started as a unit clerk right out of high school at Dunn Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So I started on the clerical side and I quickly learned I wanted to be hands-on with
Yeah,
patients.
yeah.
And so I worked there. Then I went into long term.
And what did you do
And
there?
I was a CNA. I went and got.
Okay, I was a nurse aide.
Yeah.
I think this was before CNA. I think nurse aides was before, and then CNA kind of became,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
because I worked at Salem Hospital as a nurse aide,
Yeah.
and then there was CNA. So gotcha. No,
Yep.
know that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and I loved it. I loved it. Healthcare is
Yeah.
it's a hard world. It's a hard world.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I know, preach it to the choir here. Yeah. So, whenever I got pregnant with Rosie, I had had a miscarriage prior to that,
Man.
and they put me on light duty, and the facility wouldn't acknowledge that. So I basically spent my 12 weeks of FMLA, and then they had to terminate me with the agreement to hire me after. But then I stayed home for 10 years and kept having babies.
Yeah, things change.
Yeah, right, right. But after that, things had changed so much, and so I didn't. But I have a caregiver's heart. That's me. So I'd love to find some way to find a family oriented something that we could do.
Well, we'll have to think on that.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
We'll have you back on here talking about the family orienting project that they've created. I don't know what that looks like yet, but we'll figure something
We're gonna
out.
figure something out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that, I think it's a good time to end the episode. But I appreciate you being here.
Yeah. Thank you so
And
much for having me.
it's just another wonderful story that I think needs to be told. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.